Coming soon from Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, The Silver Turk.
The Vienna Exposition.
We're in Vienna! But it's impossible. So quickly. Have I been abducted?
Not exactly.
Freak! Leave me alone! This way to the Grand Theatre of Marionettenburg.
Roll up, roll up.
A cab ride, sir? Fräulein?
Not today, thank you.
Can't be too careful these days. Better not to walk, not after dark.
Get it away!
Attacks?
I wouldn't want to alarm the Fräulein.
Alarm her. This is Mary Shelley you're talking to. Author of the darkest, spookiest stories you could ever read.
Am I?
They scared the pants off me.
Well, I didn't believe the stories, Fräulein, not till 2 nights back. That was when I saw him. Halfway down Wolfstrasse by the river. It was a black carriage. Slowly it went, and its horses were strange, walking all wrong. Clop, click, clop.
No driver?
There was no driver. And as they passed me, the lamplight caught their eyes, and they were blue.
2 more black checkers taken. Ladies and gentlemen, the Silver Turk wins the match.
It's a trick!
The Silver Turk. My husband invested in it.
There was an automaton once called the Turk. It toured the courts of Europe playing chess. But that was years ago. Surely it's not the same one. Does anyone believe what we're seeing? Is it an illusion or more than that?
Quiet, I say.
Will you part down?
Let's see what's under the mask.
No! You vandal!
What is it?
I knew it. This is no fairground automaton. It's alive.
Subscribers get more at bigfinish.com.
Ooh, happy Halloween, or at least we're starting in the month of Halloween. Let's get the show started. My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend. And welcome, Whovians, all ages. Welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS as we start our month at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS on the Facebook page and all of our social media, the 31 Days of Halloween. And we are today going to be reviewing a very spooky story from Big Finish called The Silver Turk, which the 8th Doctor has the companion, Mary Shelley. Have you heard of that name before? Because she's written a lot of books. One of them is really, really, really popular. And also, there is an episode of Doctor Who, what was it? Diodati. I can't remember the title. Oops, I muted you all. Let me get them unmuted. There you go. What was it?
Go.
Yes. Hi.
Hello, everybody there.
Hello.
So, thank you for joining us for our review.
The episode was The Haunting of the
Haunting of the
Villa Diodati.
Villa Diodati.
Diodati.
I'm going to try
Yes.
because
We're not.
Villa.
Villa
I'm
Diodati.
going to butcher the heck out of
Diodati.
the name before the night's over there.
Here we go.
There we go.
Famous
Thing is-
historical location. So.
Gotcha there. So we're going to be reviewing today, and I got to give you, as always,
What?
Spoilers.
Fantastic.
we're going to be reviewing The Silver Turk, written by Mark Platt, and I believe it was directed by Nicholas Briggs himself, who also plays... Well, we'll be talking about that very shortly. Let me go ahead and
the cover kind of gives it
I'll
away.
say it's he's right on the cover.
Well, you know, for people
Oh no,
who don't
who's
watch
the big bad?
For people who don't watch classic Who, that might be a little bit, just saying. I like to leave surprises for some people, Spoilers. We just gave the
It's
spoiler
only
now.
Who Bill turned into
9
one
years
like
old,
that.
this Big Finish, so this isn't exactly like new off the press.
I know. Well, I keep telling people that story of the woman who chastised me because I had mentioned survival in one of my panels, and the woman yelled at me and said, "Please don't tell me what happens next. I haven't seen that series yet." And I'm like, honey, it's 20 something right now. And that episode took place in 1986. So
I was dating somebody and we were going to see the new King Kong with Peter Jackson. And I said, I wonder if it's going to have the same ending as the original, with him getting shot down off the plane. And she was very mad at me. And I said, that was 1933. This is 80 years.
Yeah.
Famous scene.
You know what? We had that.
It's a scene that everybody sees. It's what are you gonna next thing? They're gonna be stunned that King Kong picks up Fay Ray.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing is, with Doctor Who, maybe I can give a little bit of a grace because people are just catching on since the restart at 2005.
Yeah.
So what direction they do when the series goes into hiatus or off the air, just temporarily? Where do they go? They go back to Classic Who. So I understand. But what do I talk about at a convention now?
Yeah.
Because I don't, do I have everybody sign a waiver going like, I'm going to say some spoilers here. You're not going to like it. I might go into Classic Who and ruin an episode that you just are that's been around for 30 to 40 some odd years. I mean, where do you go from there? Speaking of where you go from there, folks, you can go to youtube.com/The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Don't forget to subscribe right there. We missed our goal, but not by much. We were hoping to get 1,500 subscribers by the end of September, but maybe October will be the number. And we only need 25 of you right now. Just go over to your YouTube channel, youtube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, Michael McDade, and know that I haven't finished Classic Who at this point. I'm going to finish Classic series regardless of spoilers. I've seen about a third. Okay, yeah. What do you do? What are you going to do there? Carl, we did not get to see half of last season here in Central Illinois either. I managed to catch up with Survival on YouTube, but the others were never pirated.
Pluto.tv has a classic Doctor Who channel. You do not have to pirate any of them. So.
Exactly there. Again, we're going to be talking about the episode, and actually, for those of you who happen to be keeping store, TikTok. Hello.
Who's TikTok?
Oh, who's that guy?
Who that is?
We're going to be talking about the second episode of Big Finish that Mary Shelley shows up in, because I think I haven't heard the previous one, but this one kind of is supposed to be the unwritten influence that may have had Mary Shelley write a certain book that leads into why and the influence. And there's actually some mentions there too about a certain rod that somebody used to bring the Doctor back to life. Hey, Mark, how you doing there? But again, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel there. Let me go ahead and introduce the team. Let's start with, it's been a while. And since you're not going to be here for a while, Mr. Mark Muncy of Erie, Florida.
Yeah, Erie,
this
Florida.
This is a shock that you are here.
It's a busy time of year for me. I'm sorry.
No, I get it.
I was just at Phantasm Orlando, and then next week.
How was that?
That was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. Old school style horror con. And the week before that, we were at Sinister Nights in Miami, which is another fun old school one that was kind of new. And then next week, we're filming some things this weekend for a show to be named later. Thank you, NDAs. And then after that, we will be we'll be doing some really spooky stuff. We'll be at Spooky Empire, the granddaddy of all horror conventions in Orlando. And then the week after that, we'll be at Ghost Fest at the May Stringer House, one of the most haunted houses in Florida. So if you really want a fun thing, October 30th, night before Halloween, come on down to Brooksville and get yourself a hot dog from the place where Elvis ate, and then go through one of the most haunted houses in the world. So,
wait, what?
Yep. Their claim to fame is Coney Island hot dogs. Elvis was filming a movie. I can't remember his way back. It's a country. It was beach blanket bingo, maybe. And he was filming that in Silver Springs, and he heard about this amazing hot dog place in Brooksville. So he literally shut down production, went to this hot dog place to have a hot dog.
Hot
Loved it
dog?
so much that he brought the whole crew over, and they delayed 2 days of filming just to have foot-long hot dogs at this place, and it's still there, and it's amazing. And they cater this event along with all kinds of just other crazy things going on, and we'll be trying to live stream from there, so it should be fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's an amazing house.
So you are going to live
House is
stream.
awesome.
You are going to live stream because
we're going to try. Yeah, we're going to try from the house. The Brooksville Pit is the paranormal investigation team. They're going to be live streaming. They live stream from it on Saturdays anyway, so they're going to set this up for this event. So we'll be telling ghost stories, and then we'll be talking to some ghosts. So it should be fun.
If you got a link, let me know. Send it over. We'll post it. Hey, Brian, it's been a long time, brother. Reels and Heels. Check out Reels and Heels. Nicole and Brian from the Hanging with Web Show Network, guys. Thank you.
They were fantastic this weekend. They were awesome.
Survival is probably my favorite Seventh Doctor story. So Michael McDade.
I still go Battlefield just for the brig, but other than that, yeah.
And Carl says, "Oh, I never pirate shows, but if someone else did."
Yeah, sure. No, nobody has that old computer that's just riddled.
We wouldn't do that here. Yeah.
No, never. I did not have. I don't have a laptop that was specific, or no, even a desktop tower that probably has so many viruses on it that from the Napster and not Napster. What was it? LimeWire. Yes.
LimeWire.
Oh my God. We're really going back.
Yeah, Mark knows.
Because when PBS hadn't started airing the new series yet, and we all had to find what was her name? It was Mad Martha was the lady who was leaking them all out. And we were all
Cazal. You're right. Cazal was the other one. But yeah, it was just that you had that separate tower. That way you can go ahead and use BitTorrent and everything else. That whenever it just was going to inevitably catch a virus, you're like, okay, reset to factory settings and off to the races.
It wasn't until third?
I don't do that anymore.
Of the new show that they finally started airing same week.
We don't condone it. So if Mark gives me a link, you'll definitely see it on our Facebook.
Oh yeah, I'll as soon as I find it.
We'll definitely went over there. Yep. Boo! Hey
Tom says boo.
Boo over there. So Napster gives out free music, and LimeWire goes, "Hold my beer." I got some other stuff going there. And Ramona, how you doing there? Hope you tried a peanut butter and banana sandwich too.
Those are good too. Yeah.
I've tried. I can't get to it there. Brian wins off just a heads up, but Dollar Tree has Doctor Who Blu-rays and DVDs.
Well, you're not going to do the one by me.
It's usually just like one episode or something like that, or one series.
They're usually like bits of. Yeah, they're fun though, but some of them are classics, so it's good.
Exactly. Speaking of which, we're still trying to review the show there. And speaking of reviews, Mackenzie.
Are we?
Well, we'll get to it eventually.
I'm just clicking on all the comments. Sorry, hi Mackenzie.
We got a lot. Please, yes. If you want to join the chats, by all means, type it in. Whether you're the YouTube channel, Facebook page, our Twitch channel, which needs definitely a lot of love there. Speaking of a lot of love, Mackenzie Floor, how you doing? How's everything going?
Oh, it's lovely here in Michigan. It's nice and 71. Can't complain. Finally not raining.
Oh, God, shit there. Anything new on the horizon out there, Mackenzie?
Not too much, though. I will be at Motor City Comic Con next weekend. Yeah. I don't have any NDAs, though. No, I'm kind of disappointed I don't have any NDAs yet.
They're coming. Don't worry.
Gotcha there. And without further ado, the lovely Melanie Dean, Pieces of Melee.
The name's here, dude.
And you know what? Here. You both start with the letter M. That always throws me off.
It's not that difficult. Is it? Anyway, hello everybody. Glad that you can make it while we do our big finish review tonight of the 8th Doctor adventure of the Silver Turk. As for what I'm up to, it's just I'm getting ready for Fan Expo Denver. I'm so all over the place, y'all. I will have my paintings. As you can see, I will have paints. I'm working on stuff. And the not Doctor Who stuff, I'm going to be working on more Bad Batch and clone stuff because my muses are helping me determine what other kind of clone stuff to work right now. So to paint right now. So yeah, there's going to be some Star Wars stuff. So
who's the celebs going to be at Denver? Who's going to be the big names out there?
Well, for our Doctor Who audience, somebody named Christopher Eccleston will be there.
Oh, I hate you.
And because he's doing a lot of the fan expos right now. So if you're going to be at Denver, Fan Expo Denver, which is the 29th 29th, 30th, 31st, so Halloween weekend. And hey, I'm gonna cosplay.
Awesome.
He's gonna be there. I don't know if Billy's gonna be there. I think she might have. Maybe she's canceled again because that was kind of like the big Doctor Who kind of going around. But yeah, go to fanexpo.com. Look for Fan Expo Denver, and and see who's gonna be there in the Mile High City. And little flatland Florida girl is gonna try breathing. And I hope it's not like crazy cold because again, it's
Denver,
the end of October, so I had to bring
it. Hit or miss. It could either be beautiful and how it is down there in Florida, or it could be, you could have a blizzard. I mean, it's just it's one of those type of.
You never know.
Yeah.
So I have to buy a thing called a jacket, or do I have to go all the way to a coat?
You might need one.
Can I wear a hoodie? I don't have winter stuff.
Is that the day?
If you're
they haven't had any of the S word yet, so you should be all right.
If you see those memes, if you see those memes where somebody's saying I have to put on my winter wear, it's sandals with a pair of socks over them, or no, they've got their socks on, they're wearing their sandals. That's
we do get our 3 random days of winter down here.
Yeah, we get cool
one of our local ABC affiliates put out a meme that goes, "I survived the freeze of January 15th to the 18th." Like that. That's the kind of stuff that we get there. Speaking of which, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we return, we're going to give you our numbers and the review for the Silver Turk Big Finish audio with the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann, and Julie Cox, who plays Mary Shelley. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend. Melanie, you got it? I'm going to take it right now.
Says Melanie, you got it. No, I don't. I didn't see the thing in the private chat asking me to run the commercials. So hold on, y'all. We're gonna make it Christian's fault again. Oh God, save us, please.
Bateman.
What's the Bateman?
A novel set in Florida, written by Florida author D.L. Havlin. Suspense, mystery, and murder.
Evidence is in the bait.
The Bateman is available at local bookstores and online.
Oh, brilliant! It's hard to believe that in the 56-year history of the greatest sci-fi television show in the English language, there has never been a fan guide to Doctor Who. The official books might give you what they think you need to know, but only a guide written by a true fan will give you what you really want to know. Join Whovian, the brilliant Mackenzie Flaw, as she takes you on an intensive journey inside the world of the first female Doctor. In the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, Season 11. Right, let's get a shift on.
Jackie Sonnenberg's My Soul to Keep is a ghost story rooted in the realities of actual cults. When 13-year-old Sky Monroe arrives at her new boarding school, all she can think about is death and connecting with the afterlife. Soon she discovers her school's spirituality group, the Guardians of Light, and they have a secret. They can speak with the dead, and the organization is a cult. But this isn't Sky's only problem. The campus house where Sky resides is haunted, and even the ghosts have an agenda. They intend on getting the souls they want. Filled with mystery and intrigue plucked straight from the headlines, author Jackie Sonnenberg's research and attention to detail give this ghost story an even more eerie atmosphere. Find My Soul to Keep on Amazon.com today.
Forgot you always talk that one up. Never mind. They get an extra bump. So we're back.
Okay. For those of you who are listening to us, you're missing out on a lot of things here.
Yeah.
This is the greatest episode known to technical abilities.
Wow.
Mark, you need to be doing all this.
My hair's gotten weird. What the heck's going on? Never mind. For those... if you're watching us on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook page or on our Twitch channel, subscribe to our friends over at geekinsider.com. Geek Insider, don't forget to subscribe and tell them the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS sent you. Oh, it's going to be that kind of show, huh?
At Geek Insider, we foster relationships with those in the geek sphere so we can give our audience the insider view of entertainment, tech, and more.
I mentioned in the after party for this announcement that came up out over here. Tomorrow is our 3rd year in podcast broadcasting. When we first started, our very first episode began the day before Jodie Whittaker premiered as the Doctor. It was that Saturday, and the following day Jodie premiered. So we are been around since Jodie's been the Doctor. Let me tell you, we are professional. Yep. There are some things, even in the 3rd year, we're still getting. What the heck is that, Melanie?
It was an adipose.
It was an adipose. I couldn't make it.
I was trying to do.
No, I
doing something like that.
What?
It was bright. I couldn't make out the features.
I mean,
it was like bright.
There you go.
There you go.
We're all showing
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Legend.
So I think I have like in like arm's reach.
For those listening, you're missing. You turn on the YouTube right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Episode, and
comment,
be like,
share,
oh,
like, subscribe.
I suddenly saw that head, and I was like, oh my god, wearing the Briggs hat.
Gotcha.
The unit hat.
Oh, there we go.
Well, they were talking survival. They were talking battlefield. I had to bring it out.
So, anyway, let's go ahead and review the episode. Let's give our ratings. 1 being awful, 10 being great. We're talking TARDISes right now. And without further ado, because he turned around first, Mark, between 1 and 10, how would you rate the Silver Turk?
I give this one 8.5. I'd almost go 9 because it is fantastic. It is.
Yes.
We'll go into reasons why, but I'll give it an 8.5. Solid 8.5.
Solid 8.5. Okay, it took a half off, just a little bit there.
There's
a little shade.
Little things I would fix. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha there. Mackenzie, how would you rate the Silver Turk Finish Audio?
I'm going to go with a 9 because I originally thought an 8.5, and it's probably for the same reason Mark is going to say. But I'm going to be nice today and give it a 9.
Okay, you're not gonna shave it off at the last minute down there. You're not gonna cut it off for the 8.5 out there. Melanie, how would you rate the Silver Turk?
Oh God. Okay. So in the beginning, I was kind of keeping a tally, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna keep me going. I'm like, this is like in 4 or 5 territory, but then it kind of picked up. So overall, I'll give it like 7.
7. Okay.
I would probably get. Now you know what? Now it's gonna be 6. I'm probably
okay.
6. I'm gonna drop it down. I know. I'm sorry.
The lowest score is gonna go first. I'm gonna tell you right now, without giving my score until the very end, Melanie, you do own that lowest score out there. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I was going to quickly hit up some of these comments.
Sure.
Very quickly.
Go ahead. Bring on the comments. Bring them on. And
one,
keep chatting, folks.
It's basically, if about before we went to break, if about Eccleston, if he does cancel. I mean, he did cancel in Canada and Orlando MegaCon. However, he goes to what Michael says. So we'll see if he makes it to Denver or Dallas. Just a heads up. He did go to Dallas. I was at Fan Expo Dallas this past month, very end of the month of September. He was there. So I am very, very hopeful that he might be in Denver. The Rat Hole Tabletop Reviews, which is our very own Dave Chapman, is saying he can do a hoodie. I might need a full parka. This parka, that is accurate because, again, I'm from Florida. He's from the Great White North of Canada. So he's used to seeing, hot, cold. Meanwhile, I'm used to more of a Tatooine kind of thing. The last time I was in Colorado, it was wintertime, and I was at the Stanley Hotel.
Ooh,
now
that's for you, Mark. That's
spooky stuff. That place
have
is
you
creepy.
stayed at the Stanley Hotel yet, Mark? Have you
yes.
done that?
Yes, I've done the ritual trip. Yes. It's been a number of years.
Did you have an experience?
No, not at all. But
really?
It was a fun atmosphere. It was a blast. It was definitely creepy. But yeah.
Yes. Wow, the show is falling apart as we watch.
As we enter our 3rd year in broadcasting. Yes, our show
podcast didn't miss a thing. Press the big
red button.
I did not. Rat Hole says, Dave says to Carl specifically, but to the rest of the world, this is what we get when I can't be there. This is true, Dave. Shush you. Wow, I never knew that the Rat Hole contingent was the glue that held the show together. Neither did I. How would you say this, Christian? Heck yeah!
Nice.
I love
There you go.
That is awesome, good Melanie.
I can make a whole cosplay. What?
Either did I. Let me go ahead and start off by, I just have a question for you all, because what kind of shocked me was I'm so familiar with the Eighth Doctor's intro music.
Mm-hmm.
This was brand new to me. And what did you guys think of that? The
rock opera.
Yeah, the rock
day?
opera. Yes.
Yeah, that was
I listened to it at 1.25 speed to kind of move it along. Oh God.
That's speed rock. This was 2011 era of Big Finish. I want to say it's like 2010, 2011. So yeah, the new series was back, and we had all that. So I think they were trying to emulate Murray Gold a little bit.
Yes.
And because this was not the original Eighth Doctor theme. This was them having fun with it, and it's got a beat and you can dance to it. So
I kind of, not only do I like it better than the theme that they have, because the other theme for like Dark Eyes, it goes
that's a different theme,
it's just like heavy on this bass stuff, and it's just like
Dark Eyes and Stranded, they've gone a different direction. I'm not 100% happy with that music either.
No, to me, as I've said to always, and this is not against the guy who's and I can't pronounce his name to save my life, but the guy who's currently writing down the music for current Jodie Doctor Who, the theme is a war cry for me. It's a war cry to Who. Every time you hear that theme, it's like dun 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 dun. It's something. Can't wait to see you, Rex.
Another helmet I'm working on.
Nice.
We're Doctor Who podcast, trust me. So when I heard this song, I almost thought steampunkish in itself.
It
was a almost rock steampunk, if that's even a genre that I can.
Oh yeah, that's a genre out there.
It was like somebody heard what Peter Capaldi did during his series and said, you know what, that guitar could work for and yeah, I kind of like the.
This was way before that. So this was way before that. This is like I said, about 5 years before that, where they did all that. So
gotcha there. So we'll go ahead and start off everything. Melanie, you rated it a 7.
Yeah, but then I thought about a 6, and then I'm like kind of going back and forth. Okay, so the first half of it, I just wasn't. I don't know. Okay, so it's not like one of the older ones where I felt that it was just the Foley was off or anything like that. It really was done quite well. So I think the Foley was good. I think the acting was good. I think that for me, the story just felt kind of clunky in the beginning because it just, to me, even though the whole Silver Turk, the way it was written, it didn't really showcase that, oh, okay, it's a Cyberman. You look at the cover, you know who the big bad is. Right. So I was kind of hoping that it would be more that it wasn't out there that realizing that there's a Cyberman. I'm at that point where I'm not really listening to the stories based on it being a Dalek or a Cyberman. I wanted to be someone else, and then all of a sudden, like in the background, you're like, oh my God, they're gonna these classic monsters are gonna feature a lot more, heavier than I thought. Here, I knew it was gonna be like right in the front. So it just didn't grab me from the very beginning. I think that just happened to be who just.
Can I throw in this comment?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to put this up. If you look at the intro, guess who the big baddie is? So it's not even a surprise anymore. It's more like I'm not downing Mark Platt. He's actually a brilliant writer, but I wish I didn't even see that. I wish it would just her head in his head and maybe a silhouette of a Cyberman or something in the background. But it's just screaming out like there's there's 2/3 of your story already, that don't need to be.
Exactly.
You know who the big baddie is.
I think if I didn't see that picture first, I would have liked the story a lot more. But when we did get to like more of the second half of it, where the Cyberman starts talking a little bit more, that part really that started grabbing me in. There was actually a body count in this one, which I was kind of surprised at. So that actually did score more points because I was being surprised. I wasn't where I think that was it. It was like the beginning of the story. I'm thinking I'm calling everything like it's being predictable. And in reality, once I got towards the second half, it really wasn't. And even the Mary Shelley role really wasn't predictable. I mean, it was a lot of spots that were just great. And it had some great lines too. So like one of the things that popped me up to a 7 is like when the big bad guy, I have his name and I threw the paper somewhere. He basically refers to his Cyberman as a dog. And he says, you need to heal. And the Cyberman turned around and goes, you can go to hell. I went, what? I actually went back to hear that because I was not expecting that. And I'm like, oh, that was badass. When did the Cybermen become awesome? So for me, it started kind of slow, and then it ended strong.
I think it was because, and let me get to that point. I think spoilers, because those Cybermen were still kind of in the conversion. They still thought they were on Mondas.
Yeah.
And I think that's what blew their mind. So I still think that there was still that human element, but the doctor already knew that they were a lost cause. I mean, you're just looking at the humanity being, for a better term, stripped away.
And that they were named. And that
they were named
Graham. And that they referred to them still in an individual kind of way.
Yeah. I just thought it was weird because the one was named Graham, and I'm still...
I know!
Yeah, I'm still reflective of the episode, The Haunting at Villa Dilatati. I'm like, no, they did not go
with the
there.
Graham.
They did not go there. They did not go there. I hope they didn't there. Well, speaking of which, Mark and Mackenzie, we're going to get to your ratings in just a few moments. We're just going to go to a commercial break. When we return, we're going to continue our discussion. Oh, Chris Connor, hi there. Special Weapons Dalek, New Zealand.
Hello.
Thank you very much. When we return, we're going to continue our discussion about the Silver Turk. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.
This is Cosplay Michael with the Hanging Us Love Show. I want to tell you about my friends at Embellis Effects in Orlando, Florida. They've got makeup, costumes, and props for all of your costume needs. And the team at Embellis Effects is helpful and friendly. Embellis Effects is one of my favorite places, and I know it will be yours too. I'll see you there. Or go to embelliseffects.com. And remember, cosplay is for everyone.
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
Alright, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity. Streaming now.
The massive audio Doctor Who Bad Wolf Bluetooth TARDIS speaker. That's all I gotta say, one word. Wow. It looks like it just jumped right off the screen. Here it is in all its Bad Wolf glory. Right here is the on-off switch and the up and down volume. Right here's the speaker. The TARDIS stands about 6 inches from the bottom of the TARDIS all the way up to the top where the light is. Look at the detail. Wow.
You can go over to Amazon.com/FameTech. Again, that's Amazon.com/FameTech to get one of those speakers, Bluetooth, wireless Bluetooth chargers. Also, they also come with other geekdoms. So I also saw the Starship Enterprise.
Yep.
So you got some other stuff to check it out over there, and tell them the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS sent you. Hi there, folks. Welcome. We're reviewing the Silver Turk from Big Finish Audio, starting the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann and Julie Cox as Mary Shelley. We're continuing our review, and Mackenzie, I believe.
I went to 9, so actually it's Mark.
Okay, it's Mark.
I'll go day 5. So.
Yeah, he had 9, then he dropped.
Yeah, I really think game 5. I really think game 5 is solid. Yeah, no, my only issues with it were some of the there was some cringe with the bad guys dialogue. If it had been some over the top villain like the Master or something like that, I think it would have, I think I would have actually been a little more lenient with that. But there was definitely some, there was a whole bit where some creepy dialogue about fascination with Mary Shelley's eyes. That
was cringy almost.
Yeah.
It was getting slightly on the cringe, but I
remembered that from listening to it originally years ago. That's how bad it was. And when I re-listened recently for this review, I was like, ooh, that is just as bad as I remembered. It was so bad it rips you out of the story. But for story, I loved Mary Shelley as a companion. I thought this was a great idea. It was very impressive. And in fact, when the episode, The Haunting at the Villa, showed up, I was like, wait a minute. I've heard this before. They've done that before where they've taken some stories, like Dalek was from an old story, from that first episode with Eccleston with the Dalek. That came from an old Big Finish. This was very much another one of those where, let's just take this old Big Finish thing that nobody ever listened to and change it. Because this was also from the main range, which at that time usually was just one-offs, little 45-minute to an hour, maybe a two-parter. This was a full three-parter. And it really does. The other ding is the pacing. It's the first episode, as you said, is a little slow. It's a little, hey, it's Mary Shelley getting used to traveling with the Doctor, and we've got to set all that up. It's like we didn't really need that, but it happens. Now, for me, what draws me in is the history. The Silver Turk is the Turk is a grand, real historical thing where there was a robot that, played kings and courts and stuff and did dances but it was a guy in a suit, hey, we figured that out later. So I loved the premise that it was a real thing. I loved the spookiness of this one, the whole bit with the Cybermen, the wounded Cybermen trying to get energy and Mary Shelley explaining lightning rods to them. And suddenly idea goes off. It's like, oh, and then suddenly that's going to go back. We know that's coming back to her. And then somebody mentions science fiction and she doesn't understand the word. I think the Doctor mentions it. She doesn't understand it. And it's fact because she's the one who creates science fiction. H.G. Wells credits her as the first science fiction writer before he even actually comes up with the term.
Here's the funny part. It goes into, because you mentioned, I don't know what science fiction is. And the Doctor even goes as far as saying, your book scared the pants off of me. I kind of harken back to when he started talking to Grace, when he goes, Grace, don't worry about things. You're going to be doing great things. I'm like, this was the kind of eighth Doctor, just threw caution at the wind, just like, take a vacation, just don't be here.
But
he's kind of
even with that, he does a couple times worry about Mary, because honestly, this one, the Doctor is not the main focus. I love that this is all Mary and some of the other characters. This is very much a Doctor light for a three-parter. It's amazing. Now, when the Doctor does show up, it's Paul McGann at his best, and I love that this is kind of an early period, with him. So it's kind of throwing back to some of his early, like you said, kind of whatever, throw caution to the wind. I'm not the War Doctor yet. The Time War hasn't started and all that. So it was very cool to hear him play this. Now, my favorite thing about this, the reason it gets way up there, is this had a post-credit stinger, which I don't think any of the other Big Finishes did.
I liked it. I liked the stinger.
I think that was a Marvel tribute where we got the Silver Doctor, which was fantastic.
I love that little ending because it kind of gives you the impression, or was this where the first Cyberman came in?
Yes.
It kind of leaves the impression is just like, because he was going like, no, you guys aren't supposed to be here yet. I don't know what you're doing here yet. And, surely enough, the Doctor's influence, even though it was good, he saved us from the Cybermen. It can also go the other route. But
now, as for scares, I remember listening to it at the time going, ooh. Now, I remember this was, for me, it was a shock that it was
that's true, baby.
The Cybermen, because when you're listening to the main range, you just got the discs. You didn't have those nice little, covers at the time. So it didn't have, and it was a Mondasian. They mentioned Mondasian, and they hadn't come back yet in the in the new revival series either. So
right.
There were a lot of throwbacks in this one that were good. But yeah, like I said, the cringe that definitely shows, the pacing definitely shows, and like I said, that was what really knocks it down for me. But other than that, solid entry.
But I'm going to add a bit to the. I'm not saying I'm defending the cringe, but I think it also kind of developed the character of Mary Shelley, because now the Doctor's world is starting to affect her. Whereas, and I don't think we had any of us heard The Company of Friends, which is actually her first story. This one I introduced because people were telling me this is where it kind of brings more into the Frankenstein mold. And that's where, being the month of Halloween, that's why I wanted to start with this particular Big Finish audio there. But Mackenzie, what do you think?
Well, I ended up giving it a 9 because I was looking at it from probably a totally different perspective. I felt it was an episode that could have been easily adapted for TV, and it felt that way from the beginning. I thought it was interesting that Mary Shelley didn't really feel like the Mary Shelley that you get in series 12. Mm-hmm. She felt like a completely different character, someone who was out of fiction.
Actually, Mackenzie, I'm glad you brought this up. Let me just put up these monikers. First of all, this is the Mary Shelley played by, I believe it was Lily Miller in the episode of the Diodati.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Julie Cox, who did the audio. Unfortunately, she didn't dress up for the audio, so but that's what she looks like out there. So I wanted to actually, it was going to be one of my questions out there, but I wanted to focus on you, and especially you mentioned it, the two Mary Shelleys. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to, I don't want to influence your discussion, but I wrote by Mary Shelley's, Julie Cox's badass. She goes into badass mode.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that version of her in what we got with 13. And I also would have loved to have seen a way that they could have worked it in so that like, oh, it's the Doctor. Like we were kind of doing that thing, but I know that the show has this thing about they don't like crossing Big Finish, and Big Finish doesn't like crossing the show necessarily. So it's probably all fine and dandy that it went the way it was. But those are some of the things I really liked. I also liked how the Cybermen, this was actually probably the first time that I can think of in a while where I actually felt bad for the Graham that was the one Cyberman. I usually don't pity at all the Cybermen, but that one I actually felt very similar to how I felt in the Bill episode, where we got to see how the conversion is before the conversion, how there's so much pain. And so it really made me feel pulled to series 12 in that case with Capaldi. And then we had those same thing with these puppets that also reminded me from Tennant's Charm and from Capaldi. So I like the influences. You could kind of see where that was, or maybe it was an early version of those. You never know, because they were doing the same thing where they were trying to replace bad body parts with other body parts.
You know what came up when I first heard about the replacement? Not just and there's an episode called Spare Parts, which I would like to review later on. I don't know why, but I wrote down Deep Breath.
Mm-hmm.
Kept running into my brain every so often about the spare parts. And because that was the one where, do you remember they were burning people away and they were taking them from spare parts and making other bodies and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
In Deep Breath.
I couldn't connect the
exactly. I saw
but I just when they mentioned, Mark, the eyes part.
Yeah,
that was the first. I don't know why my brain said this is Deep Breath.
Yeah,
isn't this happening the same time around with or was it a little bit later? I couldn't tell.
I was thinking Madame du Pompadour and Girl in the Fireplace.
There
I was listening to it again.
This is more like it's more like Deep Breath, because you have those the robotics and then they're replacing their bad parts with human parts, so they're trying to become more human. Yeah. And in this case, it's more like they kill somebody and then they turn them into a puppet that is very monotone and very obeying and very.
Well, I mean, you couldn't see it visually, so audio wise, they had to, separate the
stilt their voices a little bit, just so that you could kind of hear that character come through.
Using Nick Briggs's machine, I'm sure. So
yes,
gotcha there. Well, I'm going to be reviewing it, but we got one last commercial break. When we return, of course, somebody's got to pay these bills. When we return,
The only segue you do really, really well. Seriously.
We're having a great night there. Don't forget, if you want to join in the chats, if you actually listen to this episode, by all means, what do you think about the Silver Turks? Bring it up over here. We want to hear your review, or what you think about it. Have we influenced you to listen to the Silver Turks? This time he cuts himself off. Yeah, there you go. Shut it. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tune in. Here's our final break. We'll be back.
You have more options than ever before when choosing a film, a television or internet series, a book to curl up with, or even a radio show or podcast. Get to know the people who are creating for you. The Hangin' With Web Show, hosted by award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomacher, is the internet's fastest-growing web talk show series. The Hangin' With Web Show features professional, yet casual, in-depth interviews with creative arts and entertainment pros. Meet the people behind a digital revolution in creating more quality content than ever before in the history of media. Find the Hangin' With Web Show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or simply go to www.hanginwithshow.com. That's www.hanginwithshow.com.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Go to Doctor Who Worlds Apart. That's Doctor Who Worlds Apart. Sign in every day to get your 10 free Pendacks, and you can actually accumulate those to actually get cards. And I'm just warning you, Melanie and my friends, I think the Fat Viking gave me a little belated birthday gift. So we may be checking those out on the after party sometime coming up out there. So if you want to play, and essentially when this goes live, Doctor Who worldsapart.com. And don't forget to tell them the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS sent you.
You were the only one.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a belated gift.
There was a little bit. I all of a sudden I saw something in my inbox, and it said "Fat Viking Love." So
Fat Viking Love.
So Morgan, I love you. If you're watching, thank you so much for the love. And I'm going to be purchasing cards and destroying some of these people.
Especially
once the game goes live.
Legendary cards. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. 25 more of you. That's it. 25 more of you. Just has to go over there, subscribe, and we will hit our goal. We're also trying to do our new goal of 2,000 before the end of this year. And don't forget, we got the classic episodes. Like, subscribe. And we're actually combining our reviews of not only the TV show and the Big Finishes together, so we can have a new playlist of TLTT extras. So place your bets. Does he do it right? Shut it. Shut it, Dave. Just shut it. Just shut it down.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget, go to Wizard World and get your exclusive
Dave,
25% off the merchandise over at the Wizard World Vault, wizardworld.com. Click on the vault, and don't forget to put TARDIS25 in your exclusive promo code to get 25% off your entire purchase.
And
Thanks,
it's everything.
Ollie.
It's
everything.
not just Doctor Who stuff. There's Star Wars stuff. There's Star Trek stuff. There is a massive amount of things on wizardworld.com. So if you go onto wizardworld.com, look at their vault, and use TARDIS25, you get 25% off. And that's a lot of autographs, y'all.
Yep.
There you go. And
like most of the cast of Evil, I loaded up, so it's all good. So.
And let's go ahead and finish our review which I went through a lot of my notes because everybody else said the exact same thing, but I'm going to go with Mark. I'm going to give it an 8.5. Not the greatest Big Finish audio, not the worst Big Finish audio. Did it keep my attention? Yes, it did. And I got to go with Melanie. I was kind of a little bit, I do like the eerie, it wasn't cringe. It was kind of that eerie song that she sang, which was a readaptation
that thing in the beginning
on the Silent Night. I thought that was like bringing me into the world. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Baby into a pie or something? I was like, what
it was just like
singing.
It's not only that, it's Silent Night being redubbed. And then when you finally, the good news about it, if you download this, I don't know about the CD, but if you download this episode from Big Finish into your app, the music plays after, and she actually sings all of the song. I'm just like, oh my God, this is disturbing on a level I can't. I mean,
she has a beautiful voice.
She's got it. That's why it was so perfect.
It's so soothing. You're like, oh, this is wonderful. And then you start listening to the lyrics, and you're like, wait a minute, she's singing this to a small baby, and going, wait a minute, this is what the hell
in the pot.
I love that one, not because it was. It was creepy, but I loved it because of it. Like, oh, she's bringing us in by singing a story about the Cyberman.
I'm trying to remember because it's been a while since I saw the Diodati episode. Mackenzie, I'm going with you. Are there two Mary Shelleys?
Yeah.
In the Doctor Who universe, the one that's in the audio, who is getting very close to being the Aliens Ripley girl, because when she's taking on a poker against the Cyberman, holy.
See, and that for me, that was the part where it just started clicking up for me, where I was like, she wasn't just screaming kind of, I mean, she started screaming, but you could see that she was also hacking and slashing too with the poker.
Right.
So I was like,
and she also, I loved in this one, she talked about, he was like, oh, well, we just got here in an hour right at the beginning and all this, and she's just like, well, I took a lot of laudanum, so I can't trust my own memory. And I'm like, oh, there's the dig that, no one would have even thought about. And, and then when he needs a knife, of course, Mary Shelley's got a knife. Yeah.
She's got smelling salts. I'm like, what's your bag bigger on the inside?
She has the bag. She's packed. She's ready. Yeah. And then she's yelling at him about, this isn't an adventure because we're not going anywhere. We're not seeing any of the random peasants. We're not seeing any of the random things, and that you would get with a long travel at the time.
But she wanted to see the stars, and he took her 100 years into the future.
By accident too. And then that also brings up a point, is that he kept multiple times in the episode saying how he was worried that something would happen to her because she has to go back home and write these stories. Yeah. But yet at the end she decides, oh, I'm going to take her anyway. So, Doctor.
Young Paul McGann.
He's a little flighty.
Young, but I like the dynamic because we see there are two different types of Eighth Doctor. There's Eighth Doctor who just became part of that regeneration, throws caution to the wind, is got a zest for life. Like, he's always been considered like the romantic Doctor because he sees the universe in a romantic way and loves it. And when
he even mentions himself. He gets mad at the puppet. The puppet doesn't capture his romantic style. I was like, oh my God, you hubris.
I did say he wasn't full of himself. Remember, these shoes, they fit perfectly.
I got to say, the thing that got me the most in this, I think the thing that pushed it really upper echelon with me, was Mary Shelley teaching the Cybermen pain, what pain was.
Yeah,
that was crazy. It is probably one of the best written scenes in Big Finish. It was just, and it was well played. Nick Briggs doing the voice of the Cyberman, and it was just, and she just nailed it. And I just thought that was the scene that gave me chills, and that's what pushed it up above a 7.5 into the higher tier. So
for me, like, again, it's all this stuff like towards that second half that started clicking me back up. And it was the after she teaches him about pain, him finding the other Cybermen, the music that they had behind it was very melancholy to the point where you clearly neither one is going to reconcile that the other one's going to die, or that the one's like, sacrificing himself to, take his part and off he goes. But the music set that tone for two beings that aren't going to be emoting these things, aren't going to be emoting death, but somehow it still had that sadness to it. And I'm going, whoa, this is a lot better than. Wait a minute. I've actually replayed that scene again to see how it was done with the music. So the music was pushing the emotions.
In fact, if you, as I mentioned before, if you download the app, if you download the episode to your app, you can hear the music. I think it runs for about like 15 minutes. It was gorgeous. It was definitely gorgeous. Then you hear her singing, the mother singing, the lady singing. I was like, oh my God, this is getting disgusting. But I think that's what they were trying to aim for. Yeah. I don't know why. I could smell it when they were mentioning that he was feeding the Turk cabbage stew, and I was like, oh, these got to smell disgusting by now. Narf. So
you mentioned the pinky part.
There was a pinky in the brain part.
Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, Narf. Got
yeah, that's why he went Narf. It was kind of important that you got the first part.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the chat.
Those listening missed
you
it.
just got the.
But see again, go to YouTube, pull up this episode, and you would have caught that joke, and it would have been timing would have been flawless. So,
bring back Tom's comment.
And I missed it.
I'll bring back Tom.
Thinking,
there we go.
He went to win.
I'm starting to smell stuff, and then when we're like cooking people, I'm like, oh geez, whatever. Tom, I listened to the CD years ago, but I can't remember it. Adding it to my to-do list, after the cleaning, writing, customering, we take over. Wait, that's every night. Thank you.
It only runs like 2.5, just under 2.5 hours, maybe 2:15.
It was about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was just over 2. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not too bad. It's a good road trip, or if you're working on a project or just cleaning around your, doing stuff around your house.
It's like the new box sets where they're the 3-episode box sets. That's exactly what this felt like. But those, some of those are a little long. So now, where this had a good pace to it, especially the second and third episodes just fly by. So.
And I'm going to give a thank you to Darcius. I haven't seen you on the YouTube channel before, but that person says they have subscried, so thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're getting closer.
Darcius is closer. Amazing.
One more.
So, it was a solid 8. It didn't really scare me. It wasn't really scary, and the only
it had some atmosphere, but
it had really good atmosphere. It was a decent story. It kept my interest. But I got to go with Melanie. I wish I didn't know about the Cyberman. It should have been a silhouette, like it should have been something hidden in the background, and then audibly, it should have been building up. Like we could hear the voice of the Cyberman, we could hear the stomping when they weren't on.
That would have made that
wooden
first
clock
episode sting really good at the end.
Exactly.
That's the cliffhanger.
So, but I still think it was a great story. I do want. I'm sorry, Mackenzie. I do. Because you had mentioned up the two Mary Shelleys. Does Diodati and the Silver Turk reside in the same universe? Could those two ever touch each other? Because it's almost like 13th Doctor, then gets whisked away by the 8th Doctor. I'm just like, and I haven't heard the previous story, which was The Company of Friends, which actually goes into a story. I guess the Doctor meets her at Diodati. So I'm like, you just forgot about the 13th and you met the 8th, or the 8th. Well, the 8th took you, so you couldn't have met the 13th. This is one of those million of little intricacies that take place in Big Finish, where it's like, well, this story can't fit in this story, and this story can't fit in this story. So you got to take the headcanon out and go, this is mental headcanon somehow.
I lean towards the Star Wars now, where it's their legends. So it could have happened this way, but it could have also happened this way. So, there's some real, some not. Let's just pick and choose what parts we want. Make our own canon.
The Doctor multiverse.
Yeah. Yes.
Tom says that the Doctor erased her memory. Yes.
What If is amazing.
I haven't seen the What If yet. But
That's good.
We need to start having our own spin-offs, because there's
episodes I've ever seen. So
there's a lot of. We need to have like spin-offs of just not Doctor Who, just because there's so much content out there that I think we can all talk about.
Yes.
Yeah. Heck, just have a horror show.
That's why I'm on Nerd Talk, that you can find me on sometimes. So.
Oh my goodness, there. So as we wrap up the audio portion of the show, does anybody have any final thoughts on the Silver Turk?
Solid audio drama. Paul McGann goodness. Again, Dr. Light, which is kind of fun. So it is. If you're a Mary Shelley fan, it definitely gives a good homage to the modern Prometheus, aka Frankenstein. So yeah.
Yeah, Wolf One UK says it's Doctor Who. It's timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey, exactly.
It's timey-wimey. I'm trying to see if there's any notes that kind of just.
That, and I'm forgetting his name now. The one that you think is running everything with Alfred, and it turns out that he's actually like a puppet too. That totally brought me back to the Dalek episode with Matt Smith's Doctor, where we have who is built by it. He thinks he built the Daleks, but Daleks built him. And so
Is that Bratfish? I'm trying to remember.
Yes.
Yes. Bratfish. Yes. And you do think he's the big baddie, and then it turns out he's
horses.
Alrighty, folks. So
and the horses died too in this. That made me upset.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was definitely a body.
Oh yeah.
And the carriage, the rider, I love the hell out of the cabbie.
Yeah.
Of that era. So it was him and his horses.
Realized they're British, so he's like, "Hey, they got money. I'm following them."
Yeah, exactly. And even then, the part where he stopped because he was going to feed his horses is like, "Look, this isn't. I don't know. It's." And even kind of like the Doctor kind of having that offhand kind of quip of a time where you had to go by a schedule because it's not like you can stop and get gas for your car. The horses need to go rest now, so I'll pick you up at 6. Leave me alone. But then I loved his quips, and then he was gone too.
F that altogether. I'm not coming back. You work on my time down there.
It's like, I'm not doing that.
All right, folks. Well, for those of you who are listening to the audio, we're going to go ahead and end the show, but we want to let you know next week we're going to have some really big fun. Next week, we are going to bring in special guest Jess Nicole, who was here from Sites and Side Quests, and some of our friends back here. We're going to be discussing what episode of Doctor Who would you like to see converted into a haunted house? Ooh, so if you pick one episode of Doctor Who, could it be, Sally Sparrow's house? Could there be the cyber conversion? Don't know. And I don't know because I haven't asked them to do it yet. So we're going to be doing that next week, and we're going to be highly interactive. So please join us next week as we look into seeing what episode of Doctor Who we can convert into a haunted house. And for those of you who are out there listening to us, thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. Don't forget and all of our friends who are watching us, you can subscribe, iHeartRadio. You can get the sci-fi.radio app. You can download it for free and check out. Make sure you check the listings for times that our show is playing in your area. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, CBSRadio.com, Spreaker, Player FM, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Please don't forget to download and subscribe here on our YouTube channel. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Melanie, Mackenzie, and Eminem. I'm the only one of us is not like the other. So, without further ado, thank you, folks. Please stay safe. And for those of you sticking around, we're going to be talking about our 3rd anniversary of podcasting in the after party. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Melanie.
It's when everything goes off the rails.
Exactly. Thank you so much, folks. Please stay safe. And again, always become part of the legend. There we go.
Bye, Carl.
Bye, Carl.
I miss you already.
Sorry, I'll miss the after show. Hey, Carl.
I was just checking on Wizard World Vault, and there's a lot of horror things on there. Yes. So there's signed Hatchet DVDs. There's signed music stuff. I mean, there's Ramon stuff on there now. So even if you are into early Christmas shopping, there's a lot of things on there. But there's a lot of horror. I mean, there's a lot. I'm talking Camp Crystal Lake pictures that are signed, Freddy stuff. I mean, there's a lot of horror right now, but again, if it's a horror fan that you have in your house,
this is the time to buy.
This is the time to buy. And there's some deep cuts too. This isn't just your 80s stuff. I mean, I'm looking at Sleepaway Camp stuff and The Perfect House.
They're going to be at the Sleepaway Camp crew, Felissa Rose and Robert Englund, Nightmare on Elm Street, are going to be at Spooky Empire at the end of the month. I mean, now last weekend, Phantasm, we had Tom Atkins from Halloween 3 and Nick Castle, the original Michael Myers. It was like a Halloween overload from the actual Halloween films, and they had the guys from the new ones from Rob Zombie too. So it was pretty cool crew.
Okay, so if anybody really loves me out there, there's an Ewan McGregor signed Star Wars lightsaber. Oh wait, sold out. Never mind.
Never mind. Hello, Christian. Yay!
Hey! Yay! Christian's gone! Yo! Here we go. I still got controls here. He ran away,
right.
so
Excellent.
Sorry. If anybody wants to go on Wizard Roll Vault, I'm just going to keep going on the Wizard Roll Vault stuff.
No,
Isn't
it's
it
all
sad?
good. So
Hold on, let me. If everybody else
talk
wants to see
spooky stuff for a bit. Mackenzie, you're up in Michigan,
Yeah.
so you've got Erebus up there. Have you been to that yet?
Mm-mm.
It is one of the largest haunted houses in the world, and it's in Michigan. I want to say it's near Detroit. And what's fun, Michigan is one of the top the number of haunted houses per capita is like Michigan and Ohio are like number 1 and number 2.
Oh wow!
So, because there's so much cheap land up there. So,
that makes sense.
Casper Van Dien autographs. Look at that.
Yeah. So everything from Starship Troopers to because he was in Sleepy
Sleepy
Hollow.
Hollow.
Yeah, and I know there was
He was
somebody earlier. I had briefly seen that had asked where my location. I'm in Mount Morris. If you don't know where that is, Flint, like literally on their back end.
Got some True Blood going there. Look at that.
And that's the thing is if you're somebody who likes to start having autographs, if like you want that poster to be the thing that you start on, like that you're going to keep going using it to like collect more items, this is a good way of also being able to get that one item, that one person that isn't the easiest to get. You could start with that item and then start taking them around to everywhere else.
They also have. Do they still have their less than perfect? Is that they have that?
Definitely Last Chance.
The Last
Let's
Chance
go
ones
there.
are the ones that are going away. Yes. They used to have a less than perfect where the autographs may not have been perfect or the picture may not have been perfect. And they were given those. Watch for those because when they do those, they're like a flash sale and they're like,
oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Right here.
no, less than
Karen
perfect.
Gillan.
Here you go.
Less than perfect.
So
Less
instead
than
of
perfect.
$100, she's 50.
Yeah.
If they had this, there's this dual one that I have of Matt and David, and it's a longer one, so it's not this direction, it's the other direction. And I'm like, it would have been pretty cool if they had one of those out there. I totally would have gotten one because I was unfortunate to get in line to ask a question to both of them, and somebody sat on a picture and
no.
Well, there's 9 pages. Last Chance, so
and somebody asked me, they go, well, just go to Wizard World and say you need another one. I'm like, do you think they actually carry extras for that? For just anybody go, oh, I'm sorry, somebody sat on mine.
Yeah.
Now there's can you go back up 2 rows? I'm sorry. Right there. Dichen Lockman. Yeah, she see if I wish she had some, but if she had one from her stint on Torchwood Miracle Day, I would get that one.
Well, this is all. I'm also in the less than perfect area.
Ones that they're almost out of.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
There's 2,750 products.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
So
you got a list there.
And I was going
25% off there. So
yeah. So
there you
let's
go.
see.
Exactly.
Let's see if there's a.
I think there is a Torchwood category, or it might be under Doctor Who.
Maybe under Doctor Who. Going up.
Now, while you're looking,
there you go.
While you're looking, let me tell folks if you get the if you
talk,
decide
I
to
shop.
purchase the Silver Turk right now, it's on for $12.99. It's 2.5 hours long, but I enjoyed it. I really a lot of these Big Finish, and I'll tell you if I don't enjoy it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm proud to call out the bad ones.
Yeah,
I just listened to the new War Master.
There's not many.
I listened to the new War Master series, the new box set. And I will say it has 4 episodes, which the last few Derek Jacobi's only had 3. And I will say they didn't need to stretch it to 4 because one of them sucks. So, which is a shame because Derek Jacobi is just brilliant in it. And he's given it his all, but there's one that just drags and does not go anywhere.
While you're looking, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say, but other than that, it's a fantastic series. And I was like, oh,
Melanie, I don't know if you got to Mark's question, but Mark Robinson has a question, and I want to address it to Mark Muncy. I don't know if you saw it in the chat.
Okay.
There.
I didn't see that.
What country is more haunted, the UK or the US?
Oh, now, well, we've got you on numbers because there's just more area, but you've got us on history. So there's a lot more, places that could, that are, or have a history of hauntings, but there's only so far you can go. Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What's the thing? I couldn't use it though. I would never use it. It would just
Yeah, but it's another TARDIS you could build on.
Yeah.
Because it's a
You
cookie jar
like
size.
the companion signatures. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Oh look. Yay! Happy
Thank
3
you.
years. Thank
Yeah,
you, babe.
3 years we've been doing this craziness.
Thank you, Darcy. Yes.
Christian,
Yes.
I remember when we used to talk Red Dwarf.
I still talk Red
before we started talking Doctor Who.
Yes.
And that was way back.
Sorry, that'd be my Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Beowulf has a comment in there.
Go for it.
Got it. Beowulf 1 UK. After RTD had established the new Doctor, I would love Lost Tales from the TARDIS, starting with the 8th
Oh yes.
missing years.
Yeah.
And I'm still pushing it to this day, and I don't want this to sound begrudging to what may or may not happen after after Jodie's run. I don't mind if they say, you know what, because one of the options I keep hearing over and over again, like I said, I'm not the BBC, I'm just hearing rumors, but the show might take a break. If you're going to take it a break, give Paul his series.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Give him 3 seasons. Give him 3, 4,
Give him
5.
specials.
Give him
3
specials.
specials.
I wouldn't even mind it if, like, whoever the 14th Doctor run, and then after they do the same thing that they did with, was it? I forgot what series they did it, but when Doctor Who went off, then the other series, I think it was Torchwood, or was it the Sarah Jane Adventures, that have a series that would just be Doctor Who, but it would be Paul's series. So it would be we would get our Doctor Who fix. Absolutely, there. I would definitely want to go for that, but that's just my opinion on that one. There we go.
I think it'd be amazing. I think it would personally be amazing if they had Paul go back and just really go what if he weird stuff, but have Paul go get Madame du Pompadour, because he would do that. He'd be crazy enough to do that, especially after this Big Finish audio.
I had mentioned on another show about Star Trek that Picard should have started with Q from the very beginning. Q should have recalled him back, and it should have been a season, and you should have. This is my.
There should have been a lot of things with Picard.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on Picard. Don't even. But I think what should have happened
let's say you should have had a better, well, I would say better writer, but should have had a writer instead of the 15 writers they had that none of them knew how to write a story. Apparently,
I don't think anybody knew Picard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they made him like old man Picard. I'm just like, no, this is not the way he would have gone. And but I think what it should have started with, what would happen is you're watching the retirement of Admiral Picard. He's finally, just going to hang it up, and he's done, and he wants to go back to the winery and help his family. And Q just shows up out of nowhere, goes, I'm not through with you yet.
That would have been good.
I think that's how the show should have started.
And I think that's what they're trying to do now, is they realize that. So
Beowulf says, missing classic episode, refilmed using deep fakes, etc. Colin's 3rd season, etc. Am I the only one who wants this? I don't mind a third Colin series, even though he's Big Finish. I don't know about the deep fakes, but did you see some of the titles that would have been after the Trial of the Time Lord?
Yeah.
And like one of them was not a very PC title. No. It was, what was it? Yellow Fever and How to Cure It.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it did take place in an Asian country.
Yep.
And I'm like, why is that the title of this?
There were working titles. Those were all working titles. So
I know. I'm just like, who came up with that working title? Seriously. I
love the what was it? Douglas Adams' City of the Dead. The working title for that was Doctor Who Steals the Mona Lisa. So, which is great.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I think that would have been an interesting title. Just off cuff.
But it kind of gives it away right off the bat.
Well, but we don't know too much about it or why he stole the Mona Lisa. Yeah. It's just kind of like Nick Cage walking in. I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
100%. Yep.
It's just like, what? Why? How? Why? What are you
With
doing?
all the time and space, when's he going to steal it? Well, there was a time it was stolen. It's the only reason it's famous. Because before that, nobody cared about the Mona Lisa. But once it got stolen, then it became a historical note.
one of the criticisms
Think about the UK with the crown jewels. There are those who tried so hard, and now you can't even get in to even see it. So you can't want something like that. Maybe the Doctor at one point had to steal that just to protect it.
Right, but these working titles, especially Yellow Fever and How to Cure It, especially if you're going to have it in an Asian country, not a good idea.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be. I meant, what is it? The Talons of Wing Chiang just really skirts the razor's edge about
it was.
piece.
It's pretty bad. I mean, it doesn't skirt it. It dives deep
skirt
into
anything.
I meant
blatantly
for it to
goes.
still exist.
That show is terrible for that stuff now. It has not aged well, but that is still one of my favorite episodes. And if you want a Halloween episode, that's the Halloween episode.
Yeah,
just
of
for
course.
Mr. Sin. Oh,
Mr. Sin was awesome.
Deep Roy playing that, oh man,
that still gives me nightmares. Him and Deep Roy, the homunculus.
The homunculus, another body.
Exactly.
A pig brain, robot. Great.
I was just like,
there we go. Essex, there you go.
Most scariest place I've been to is Cold Christmas, and I've been to many paranormal places in Essex, London, Yorkshire, and
Nottinghamshire.
Yep.
No, there's some beautiful places over there. The one my friend over there is Kaz Rooney. She's a spiritualist and medium over there, and I've been on her show a number of times, and she wants to come over here and do all the Florida places. I want to go over there and do all the British stuff. So I'm like, so let's just
incredible.
Let's swap one day and see what happens. So
just wear like a hazmat suit and go on a plane. You're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine.
When things open back up, that's on the agenda. So my other, I remember one of my favorite places over there was going to Loch Ness and going, not because I was looking for the Loch Ness Monster, but going to Aleister Crowley's old house. Which is on Loch Ness.
I didn't know that.
That place is, a lot of people don't know.
I did not. Oh my God! See, that's an easier way to sell a few of my friends to go see go to Scotland with me.
We'll go ghost hunting in Aleister Crowley's old house on Loch Ness. There you go. How can you not go there? Yeah.
Oh my God, Mark, I'll pay for that. Let's go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I put in Scotland because I had just recently learned about the cafe that J.K. Rowling apparently there's a bunch of a cemetery behind this cafe, and that's where all the names from Harry Potter came from. So I just like to go walk through that.
Yeah. That's where you get the fun stuff. No, we were at a Civil War cemetery, and I realized that half the names of that Civil War cemetery were characters in this one book I had read recently. And then I asked the author, and sure enough, the author went, "Oh yeah, I was there that day." I needed Civil War names, and I was like, "Oh, there you go, you found them." So,
okay, Mark, a place that you didn't think was going to be haunted and just blew your mind.
A place I didn't think was going to be haunted: the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I did not think that was going to be haunted, but now we've gotten tons and tons of cast members have emailed us. Because so Borgin and Burke's, the spooky bookstore / t-shirt shop in Nocturne Alley at Orlando, they Universal Islands of Adventure. No, that was in regular Universal, and they opened it and they brought in props from the movies. Like the window is the actual window that was used for filming where Ron and Hermione are looking in the window and stuff. But then they wanted more spooky stuff. So they started grabbing random things. They had their buyers going out buying all these crazy props and crazy things, but they're real things. And sure enough, some of them had stuff attached to them. So now there's a little girl spirit that runs around and plays with other kids and hides in the coat racks and the shirt racks. And people are like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Oh, I was playing with this little girl." And and the cast members are like, there's a shadowy guy in the back corner with a top hat, and that apparently came with the fake, but not so fake, one of the burner that's it's like the old wood stove.
I need to get a season annual pass now too.
Yeah, because I remember seeing something. It was a shadow with a top hat, and it was while I was going towards the area where Malfoy would all the Slytherins were, because that's the first place I went. because
he's supposed to be there, and he's supposed to smell smoke when you see him.
Okay,
and the thing is, the wood burning stove thing does have a smoke smell that comes out, but it's a total fake smoke smell, where this is a real smoke smell on the other side of the room. So there's a lot of crazy. So that was an unusual, you want to say wasn't expecting, and now here we are.
Okay, now
so that the conversation we had earlier, I guess that is a confirmation. Then yes, I can.
Yeah. There you go.
Damn, I want to
like-
go to Universal now. Let's go.
We broke down and finally got the annual pass. It's been worth it because we go to
very
Halloween
good.
Horror Nights every year.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you have we get the frequent fear pass. It's the one that just takes place in September. The thing is, it doesn't cover parking. So by the time you've gone in there every day and to go over the haunted houses, you're paying for another ticket. So I finally said, you only get the annual passes, and surely enough, it paid itself off. We didn't have to pay for parking. We just got the tickets there.
You can do the stay and stream, so you can get in early and actually get to the fun places.
See, I've had Disney annual passes for as long as I don't want to prove how old I am. But yeah, for a long time. And this past year, I decided to just let it lapse because of COVID, unemployment. Hello. Okay, fine. I'll do it then. But my husband was able just to keep his because he's like a Disney fanatic. But I'm at that point where I'm just like, do I really want to jump back into Disney when I could do Universal? And I mean, I've done Galaxy's Edge, and I love it, and it's amazing. But I haven't done Universal in a while, and I'm really kind of getting more into the Harry Potter kind of thing.
You definitely.
Yay!
I will say go to Universal.
I'm kind of like.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I mean, if Mega Millions happens, then I'm gonna just
you do whatever.
And retire.
I don't really know what it is about Universal. I've always felt very attached to Universal, and like Disney has nostalgia, but it just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't keep my interest.
I gotta say they've been kind of lackluster. The California stuff for the Marvel Land, it looked very Six Flags to me. I mean, the Spider-Man ride there doesn't look nearly as cool as the Spider-Man ride at Universal, which is 20 years older. And it's like, wait a minute.
That Transformers ride is insane. But honestly, it was the Harry Potter area that maybe that I went to. And I've only gone to Nocturne Alley. I've only gone to that one. I haven't gone to Hogsmeade yet. And I mean, I was just so blown away with how immersive it is. And to tie this to Doctor Who, we once had a show called If You Could Build a Doctor Who Theme Park Ride, go find it, because we kind of go on this whole Doctor Who tangent of what kind of rides and stuff we can have. But it was just so crazy immersive. The closest thing I can say to it at Disney now would be Galaxy's Edge, but I'm one of those evil Disney snob or Star Wars snob people that wanted something that was either Tatooine or Coruscant. I don't want a Batu.
You wanted classic. You wanted the 4, 5, and 6.
Not necessarily 5, 4, and 6. I really like prequels. I'm a stupid prequels person. I wanted Coruscant.
I would have been cool with, as long as it was just something. I would have been cool if it wasn't tied to any of the movies. That it was just a whole Star Wars area that we didn't know. There's so many. Nar Shaddaa and all these random places they could have done.
Yes, I would have killed to go to Nar Shaddaa. But so I'm just going to go quickly with my elevator pitch when it comes to this. What I would have wanted is an actual land that was in every one. So let's just go for the hell of it, Tatooine. Okay, we'll go Tatooine. It's Florida. It's hell outside anyway. I would have made it so that at different times and different seasons, different whatever, we will roll out what the cast members are dressed like, what the flags are, if it's the Republic cog out there, if it's the Galactic Empire cog out there. So that way you now are resetting or doing little overlays over what era it is. So you can get, that would just be a water park.
Let's make a water park. There we go.
We'll make treasure.
I'm curious to see how the hotel goes. With the cruise. With the role playing cruise. I'm all excited for that just because I love what's the one out in Utah, Evermore, the theme park where it's the role playing theme park. Dragons thing.
Yes, Mackenzie told me about that.
I'm like, if that had a budget, a Disney budget behind it, that would have been amazing. And so that's why I'm hoping for this Star Wars thing. But again, the cost is insane. It's going to be very limited for a long time. But oh yeah, there you go. In Cressing Temple in Essex, yes, the Black Monk.
Oh,
what?
That's a very famous.
Really?
As a very famous shadow figure in Essex. Yep.
Is it Poltergeist?
It's very similar. He's more of a stone tape. He's a remnant, but he has been known to get like in your face, and if you are not not the nicest. Like where I'm going to be, Brooksville, May Stringer House. There's a guy upstairs named Gus, who used to have the nickname Mr. Nasty because he used to be very, very verbal and very, very aggressive.
Ooh.
Very, very, get out of my place.
Jackson kind of way.
Nope. And it just get out of my place. And I like to think, hey, if you were a jerk and evil in life, you're probably going to be a jerk and evil in death. So I don't necessarily mean,
he pretty much. I think Ghost Adventures has pretty much proven that if you were bad in living, then you are in death. Yeah.
Or it's also how you
in the age where I
too.
would talk about something about that.
Well, Christian?
It's also how you died. I mean, because I was told that if you died a violent death or something, to the your spirit is stuck there, reliving that reliving that event.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking like back to like going to St. Augustine like crazy. Where
St. Augustine.
I love that town.
We need to go into a whole digression on Nigel Keel and the Quatermass or Catermass series, which was pre-Doctor Who, which is when Nigel Keel was asked to create Doctor Who. He turned it down because I already have. It's called Catermass, and I'm just going to write another Catermass story. So, if you want, he did a whole thing on stone tape theory. He did a movie called Stone Tape that was originally going to be a Catermass, and it is probably one of the best descriptions of science and ghosts. And gives you a lot of good theories. Nigel Keel, man, I can go on 2 hours about him, but I sadly have to go because I have to log into another show.
We're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Don't forget, everybody, like, share, subscribe, comment. Comment on also down on here after the show. If you're just watching this after this show has premiered, comment below what Big Finish audios you would like us to review. Upcoming, no matter what, anything in the past. I actually want to do... was the Sirens of Time, which was the very first Big Finish audio, just so that we have that in our arsenal.
I want to do Stranded 2. Wait, 2? Yes.
We
haven't done 2 yet.
I want to do War Master, and I am all for a 14-part epic Jago and Lightfoot review. Come on.
Oh my God. That's going to be a marathon.
But we still haven't done the light at the end. We still haven't done the, I think it's the 25th anniversary. They did
the 25th, they did the 30th.
We're going to give you the keys to the kingdom. Go ahead and tell us what audios you'd like us to review. We'll look it over.
It has to do with Tom Baker.
Anything that has to do with Tom Baker.
I think I have every Big Finish still in my account. So that's up to War Master 2 or up to War Master 6. So I don't think I've gotten the 2 this month yet, but I've spent way too much on Big Finish. I would have a much bigger house if I didn't.
I understand that problem. In my case, it all went to Genshin Impact. So,
well, we're going to go ahead and go. Please, everyone, please stay safe. Again, subscribe to everything. Thank you, Darcius, for subscribing to. We're just 4 people away from 53,000 subscribers, and we're halfway up to 56,000 followers. I don't know which number to take. And hopefully Facebook doesn't go down like it did last time.
I'm making sure I subscribed.
Happy Halloween all. I hope I get to see y'all before then.
Yeah, and Gavin, turn the bell on. That's where you can get all the
turn the bell.
Yeah.
Don't forget the notification bell. That's right.
Yeah.
Especially when we go late 15 minutes. So but definitely
that was his fault.
I know. If I don't see you all, happy Halloween. Thank you all so much. Folks. But hopefully I get on one more before then. But
yes.
Please do. And just to let you know, folks, the 31 Days of Halloween is taking place on our Facebook page and all of our social media. That's from last year. Thank you, Mark. We are please go ahead and subscribe to our Facebook page if you haven't already. There's a lot of content going over previous videos. And
She looks very Blade Runner-y.
I know
she looks very like Blade Runner kind of. The girl, or the girls from.
Come on, it kind of gives me a Tron feeling here.
Yeah,
Well,
because I was even thinking like the girls from Guardians, but it's definitely not. But
that's what they were showing for the theme there, for the 80s theme they were trying to establish, and that's what we did. She just happened to pose like that, or either that, or she knew exactly what I was doing.
She has nunchucks.
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't even notice that.
Oh.
Now you can tell this is Universal. If you look above her head, you can see the minion
Yeah.
silhouettes. But I
The
thought
what?
it was cool.
The
You
what
can
silhouettes?
you can see a little bit of the outline of the minion above her head.
Oh, okay.
And
I
the
see
reflection
that.
of the building that's behind her.
Okay.
Because if you look at the clouds, it kind of just like drowns it out.
See, that's why I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Disney. I absolutely love Mickey's Not So Scary. For the longest time, I wouldn't go to Mickey's Not So Scary because I was going to Halloween Horror Nights. I'm like, no, I am an adult. I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights and going to the Bill and Ted show because that's how I roll. But then I did Mickey's Not So Scary and realized, oh, their whole thing is dressing up. Even if you're a grown-ass adult, you can still dress up and you trick or treat. And then that made me go, oh, this is amazing. And the greatest moment of my life is I did Chell from the Portal games. And at that time you couldn't buy a Portal gun. So I made my own. And as we're trying to make it to the ferry, the dock captain goes on his horn and goes, ma'am, you can't bring that portal weapon on here unless you can make it big enough for the boat. And I like tried making it like huge. She's like, all right, permission to come aboard. And like everyone's staring at me. So it was like the greatest moment of my life. But anyway, I digress a lot.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next week. Please stay safe. Please take care of yourselves. Don't forget to subscribe to all the social media out there, and as well as Melanie, and check out her stuff on Pieces Melee over on Instagram, and Mackenzie Floor. Check out her stuff on Twitter and Instagram, and all of her books. The Right of Wands, the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Someone buy that. I'm tired of it being on my wall.
You got it.
That's it.
Thank you, folks, for joining us. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next week. And thank you. Mwah.